Namaste, everybody. Today, I want to share with you a journey of hope amid hardship, a journey that surpassed continents and spread for over 2 decades. I come from a country often known to the world as the land of happiness, a country that propounded the concept of gross national happiness, or GNH, a country whose government often claims even street dogs smile in sheer joy of being born there. A country whose government forced 1/6 of its total population into being refugees in early 90s under its policy of cultural homogenization, one nation, one people. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I come from the country called Bhutan, a small country between China and India. In May of 1992, I fled my homestead along with my parents and thousands of other Bhutanese citizens, mostly Nepali speakers, on an unforeseen journey. In darkness, I'd already crossed the international border and reached the Indian state of Assam. I breathed a sigh of relief that I was safe there, but alas, even the largest democracy in the world sided with the Bhutanese despot, and soon I was chased and ferried in trucks to Nepal border. I knew very little about what future had for me, for my family, or for my people. Throughout this perilous journey, I left behind most things: property, home, happiness, family, citizenship. But I constantly carried 2 things securely close to my heart: my education transcripts and my dogged dream, a belief that with hard work, no problems are permanent. Some 40,000 of us lived on a riverbank in eastern Nepal. Every single day, I witnessed death of young children. And most days, over 30 children succumbed to hunger, diarrhea, malnutrition, cholera, death, deprivation, dearth, dehumanization, disease were common to our refugee life. While the Bhutanese king and his government was this humanitarian crisis smug as a bug on a rug, it was the local Nepalese people who spontaneously united in hundreds and collected food, shelter, and medicine, thus preventing a catastrophe. Eventually, United Nations for High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, came to rescue. Education was a distant dream for me. Survival alone was a reality. However, I harbored a deep belief that one day this problem would end and life with dignity and purpose was still possible. I started teaching at a local school for 200 Nepalese rupees, equivalent to $2 US. With my first salary, I bought a new sari for my mother and started supplying half a liter of milk to my parents. The vast, cultivable lands, the beautiful home, the big stretches of cardamom and orange orchards, the livestock, everything my parents had hard-earned in Bhutan was just a memory, the casualties of the gross national happiness. Several months later, I enrolled in a school, started working as a house servant in a local family, washed pots and pans, ran chores for them, so I could live in their house and pursue my education. Every single day, life was hard, but hopes I kept high. This happened in the January of 1993. I performed my house chores so well for my landlady that she invited me to watch television in their living room. An important person was speaking. Among other things, he said, and I quote, "Our hopes, our hearts, our hands are with those on every continent in the world who are building democracy and freedom. Their cause is America's cause." I later learned this was part of the inaugural address of an American president. I started questioning myself. Is my cause, my people's cause, also America's cause? I had become a refugee because of the identity of my birth, my faith, my culture, my language. Several of my people were imprisoned, tortured, and killed by the Bhutanese government. Innocent citizens were chased out of their ancestral homes. their properties looted, and their citizenship confiscated. Is this the gross national happiness that the world knows as? Is my cause still America's cause? Will the United States take initiatives to bring justice to my people? While serving as a house servant there, deep in my subconscious self, I started dreaming an American dream. I served as an inspiration to many of my younger children in my community to pursue education seriously because I knew education is the last resort for a refugee. In quest of education, I landed in far west Nepal, where I started teaching at a local school and enrolled for college. My students would know me from a distance: black jacket, green pants, white shirt. That was my entire property that I possessed. Every day was hard. However, I forced a big smile on my face, oftentimes wore dark glasses to conceal my emotions, quite similar to what Charlie Chaplin once said: I like to walk in rain so that nobody can see my tears. In my school, in one of the classes that I taught, there were about 50 students with only one girl. I wondered why there's only one girl in this class. One day, I approached my principal and asked why there are no other girls in this class and why we did not do more to encourage more girls in school. My principal patted me on my back and said, "Madhav, you have the responsibility of building your own future. Don't you worry about these children. They have a home to live in and a citizenship right to exercise, and you precisely have neither." I realized my worth, rather my worthlessness, a state of being stateless. However, I reminded myself, with hard work and a positive attitude to life, no problems are permanent. I still wanted that more girls attend school. While I was a refugee youth still struggling for my own survival and education, I wanted more girls to go to school. Heck, I wanted to establish a school. With the help of some generous local people, my brother and I started a school with 33 students the first year. And in just 3 years, we became one of the largest schools in the district, and over half of them were girls. At my school, I played many roles: room cleaner, bell ringer, announcer in morning assembly, English teacher, principal, supervisor, hostel warden, many more. At my school, my girls were leaders. They were school prefects. They served as class prefect, school prefect. They led extracurricular activities, speech contests, and art contests. And I realized their journey had begun from pots and pans to plots and plans. And I found that given equal opportunity, a girl could do as well as, if not better than, any boy in class or even outside. My school won many regional and national awards for excellence in education, sports, and extracurricular activities. While I was running the school successfully, I pursued my own higher education. I obtained 2 master's degrees in English language teaching and in sociology. I worked with Peace Corps volunteers from the United States and volunteer service overseas from Europe to train English teachers in various parts of Nepal. And for my contribution in the field of education, I was conferred with one of the highest national honors, Pravala Gorkha Dakshin Bahu, or Order of the Gorkha Right Hand, an award conferred by the state head for a distinguished contribution in the fields of art, literature, science, or social service. This indeed was a very happy moment for me, but unfortunately this happiness did not last long. It was only transient. My refugee camp was engulfed in fire, and I was on rooftops throwing buckets of water onto those wild flames until the fire reached the hut next to mine. I rushed into my hut only to see my 93-year-old father and my mother huddled at one corner, unaware of the dangers of outside. I carried them, literally crossed a nearby brook and reached to safety, but in so doing, everything was burned to ashes. And to add insult to injury, just 2 hours later, nature's wrath unleashed, bringing the heaviest rain and the deadliest thunderstorm I'd experienced in a while. Myself drenched to the bones, I was holding a plastic roof to protect my parents from rain and wind and that storm. Suddenly, my instinct prompted me to move away from that place. In a fraction of a moment, a big branch of a tree that I was under slithered and hit the ground, digging a deep hole just inches away from where I was standing. Had I not listened to my instinct then, I would not be standing here to share my story today. My life was a conglomeration of struggles, accidents, incidents, chances. However, I kept a positive outlook to life and started working and struggled to work, to live a life not by chance but by choice. I earned another Master of Philosophy in English Language Education and later served as principal of one of the leading institutions of higher education in Nepal, the Himalayan White House International College. While my life had improved substantially over years, my parents and my people remained stranded in the excruciating conditions in the refugee camps. For 17 years, Nepal engaged Bhutan in dialogues for the repatriation of the Bhutanese citizens in the camps. But to this day, Bhutan has failed to take back even a single of its citizens. It was amid this grim situation that the United States and several other Western nations offered third country resettlement to Bhutanese refugees. And it is now time to depart. As Robert Frost once said, 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by. I chose the less trodden path. I chose to come to the United States. This decision, however, was not without consequences. My family was separated. One of my sisters was resettled in New Zealand, my other sister in Denmark. I was leaving behind my old parents still in refugee camps, not aware when or if at all ever I would see them. I bundled my 19 years of memories and belongings in just 2 little bags and bid goodbye to that beautiful country where I lived for 19 years. I set on a journey to the land of opportunity. While the pleasure of being a new beginner once again is exciting, the pangs of separation from family and loved ones, the fear of uncertainty of future, and the difficulty of acclimatizing to a new culture were threatening. They were intimidating. Only a fine line separated the joy of being a new beginner in a new country from the dreadful thought of life's futility and frustration. However, I harbored a deep belief with hard work, no problems are permanent, and that I should live every day as a new day. In the United States, I worked as an adjunct instructor of English as a second language, or ESL, at Baltimore City Community College. In a year's time, I moved to Stratford University in Virginia as ESL faculty, but my heart was with refugees and immigrants. I moved to Philadelphia and started working for Unaccompanied Refugee Minors, and while living there, founded the Bhutanese American Organization of Philadelphia as its first president. I spoke from colleges to Capitol Hill advocating for refugees, and currently I serve as the director of refugee resettlement for Bethany Christian Services in Lancaster. And as I serve these newly arrived refugees, I see my life in theirs and their stories in mine. Every time I meet a new refugee family, I see that every refugee has a story worth listening, an experience worth recording, and a dream worth cherishing. Refugees have made great neighbors, motivated students, and loyal citizens. Refugees come not just with a bundle of belongings, they come with the power and the prayer of hard work. While they may look different practice a different faith, or speak a different language, they come with a common purpose: to belong to a nation and to embody its dreams. Through my own life's journey, I see how hardship leads to hope, how predicaments give way to possibilities, and how with hard work, no problems are permanent. I want to share with you this hope of my 98-year-old father, who now lives in Philadelphia. He hopes to hold an American passport soon. He was 75. He was 75 when he was thrown out of Bhutan because he looked different, he practiced a different faith, and he spoke a different language. I wish of a world where all men, women, and children have a place to call home, a world where dictators and despots are replaced by democracy in real sense of the term. Thank you very much. God bless the United States of America.